this is Serena Webb. This is my lesson plan for my pre-conference meeting, and for that, I'm going to be using the TEAG 4.2E, and what that TEAG says is you need to represent decimals, including tenths and hundredths, using concrete and visual models and money. By the end of the course, for the SMART objective, 90% of the classroom should correctly represent decimals using concrete models and money. And hopefully we'll be able to do this with 15-minute daily practices. I will hook my students by using props. It'll be little opaque baggies. They will all contain the same amount of money, but it will be different coins or potentially different models. And the students will have to guess which baggie contains the most amount of money. It'll all contain the same amount of money. The academic language that I plan to use will be words such as like decimals, tenths, hundreds, values, equivalent. The strategy that I will be using will be to use the base 10 blocks, and I'll use that strategy because the students will have already been familiarized with base 10 blocks in 3rd grade. So they'll already kind of have a working knowledge of that. And so for one of my strategies will be to use grouping, like the jigsaw, have students working at different tables using different manipulatives to arrive at the same amount of money so they can see kind of what the baggies represented. The strategies with the I do approach, I will on a whiteboard have 53 cents. It won't always be 53 cents, but that's just what I'm using here. 53 cents on the whiteboard, and then I'll show the students how I arrived at that using coins and even base 10 blocks. And then the we do, I will have select volunteer students come up to help me to get the differences with the tenths and the hundreds for those values. And then for the you do, I will monitor students in small groups as they try to figure out. I will give them each actually different amounts of money per table this time, and just so they can see what everything looks like in hundreds place and tenths place. And as far as the element of technology, for analyzation, I will ask students, how can you classify 53 cents using base 10 blocks and coins to represent the decimals, including the tenths and the hundreds? And then I would ask them, what can you combine to change the number of coins or base 10 blocks that would still equal 53 cents? For the technology, we use EduCreations. And for the formative assessment, it would be embedded assessment. So it'll kind of be like what I just monitored the students, seeing if they are correctly putting the numbers in the correct places, in those correct placeholders. And then for the resources, we would use Chromebooks or iPads. And for the materials, again, base 10 blocks and money. And then to close out my lesson, I would use an exit ticket strategy. Ask my students perhaps why does 0.6 still equal, why is that more than 0.53? If 0.53, you can see that it has more numbers. Why still is 0.6 a greater number? Thank you so much.